from Woodturns. As a woodturner, I appreciate all the resources available to me via a woodturning club. I actually belong to two. Last month, Jerry in the Cascades Woodturners newsletter talked about a chuck for making eggs. And at the same time, I got a request from one of you saying, why not do an egg? So, let's do an egg. The difference here is I've made eggs before, but I always had to resort to some form of sanding to finish up one end of the egg or another. These that I'm making here are made using a fairly simple chuck. What you see is one end of that. It consists of a PVC coupling, and I'll put together a video on making this chuck and publish it next week. But if you want to get a jump on that, go to your local hardware store. I used Home Depot into the plumbing department and get a 2-inch PVC coupling. You're seeing 1/2 here. Now, don't skimp and get the $3 cheaper 1.5-inch coupling, because that will constrain the size of egg that you can actually turn. So get your 2-inch, get ready, the video will be up next week. But for now, let's turn a couple of eggs.
The piece of walnut scrap I selected for this egg is just under 2 inches, which gives me very little tolerance for my chuck jaws. So I kept the tenon end from another project, smoothed off the end, and glued this piece of walnut with CA glue. Since I don't fully trust CA glue for a butt joint, I'll keep tailstock pressure for as long as possible and for all heavy cuts. I've made several egg guides at 1/4 inch increments to 2¼ inches. The round concave portion is the first measure for diameter. The guide's length is 1.29 times the diameter for the ideal length. Since eggs vary widely, this is to approximate the length. Once the closest guide is selected, I'll mark the egg's length and the point for the largest diameter, which I approximate by eye with the assistance of the guide. With the length marked, I'll mark it with a parting tool and then start forming the egg's large end first, with a gouge, then a skew to trim the end. This I followed with a light scrape with my skew. Since I have a good surface now but still want tailstock pressure for safety, I'm putting a rubber stopper onto my live center. This is simply a rubber stopper drilled out to fit the threaded portion of my live center. This will keep pressure but not mar the wood. Now for the small end of the egg. I'll shape it with a gouge. I'll cut a little more clearance space with a bit end. Then I'll finish with some more light scraping before sanding the egg up to 400 grit. Next, I'll apply shellac friction polish and rub it in at high speed before parting off the egg, but leaving a short nub on the small end. The nub will help align the egg in the chuck. Now to finish the small end. The plywood discs from my last egg still fit this egg. Otherwise, I would fit new discs that fit between the egg and the egg chuck. After aligning the egg, I'll tighten the chuck firmly before cutting off the nub. Then sand and finish the small end. Could I hand sand the small end of the egg? Yes, of course. I've done that on earlier eggs. A $10 investment in the egg chuck makes it go so much smoother and enables me to rub in the finish at high speed to match the rest of the egg. $10? Well spent. Eggs are a great way to use scrap. Eggs are popular with both adults and grandchildren, especially with spring egg hunts. They're a simple way to display and appreciate wood color and grain. That's all for this video. Please subscribe to both my website and YouTube channel. Please always wear your full face shield. Goggles are not enough. Until next time, this is Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns.